Well, we'll talk a little bit more about the impact of the change on City's aspirations to win the Carling Cup in a moment. But I think that is quite an interesting point that Kevin raises there, Gary, because for all these years we've been dear old City, everybody's whipping boy. It changes once. The minute you become dear old City with money, you are there to be shot at, aren't you?
Of course you do, because, you know, every other fan in the country had City as their second team because they felt a bit sorry for them. We've been the yo-yo team up and down the levels. But our supporters, you know, could even laugh at ourselves, you know. When some of the songs they come up with, you know. I remember playing United, we beat them 3-1, and City fans singing, "Are you City in disguise?" You know, how does United supporters answer that one? So we can laugh at ourselves, but now we've got a few quid. I think, you know, every other fan at other teams wishing that our owners were their owners for obvious reasons. And, you know, for me, you know, you can always look at it. Would Jose Mourinho have won the titles with Chelsea if he'd not had the money of Mr Abramovich? You know, we can pick holes in everything.
More to come from Gary Owen and from Kevin Parker. We'll see you back here in 2. He unveiled as a new Manchester City manager, and coming up very shortly, the little matter of a two-legged semi-final in the Carling Cup against Manchester United. And on Monday, the 4th of January, right here on Channel M today at 6 o'clock, a very special football debate show. So we're talking about Manchester City, and we've done that a few times down the years with this chap, Gary Owen, and with that chap, Kevin Parker. So, as the dust settles on this, where are we up to, Kev? As a club? Because we have got this two-legged semi-final, and we don't want to make a pig's ear of it, do we?
No, definitely not. And, you know, as a fan, that's still the most important thing for me at the moment. You know, we've got United at home on the 6th and then away on the 19th. And whilst we've got to make sure we pick up the results in the league between now and then, those two games are very important to me as a Manchester City fan. The opportunity to get to a cup final at Wembley in February is paramount, to be honest with you.
Now, Gary, I've got to agree with that, see, because I was getting quite excited about the Carling Cup, and I know that some people tend to poo-poo it, but it puts you back in the record books, doesn't it, for the first time in 30-odd years. And you think, well, it's such a great opportunity, the first stepping stone back to glory, and I would hate this managerial change to impact on that negatively.
No, I think it's vitally important to win a semi-final, first time in many, many years. I don't understand why Arsenal have not taken it seriously, because they've not won a trophy in 5 years. You know, I think for the size of that football club, Arsenal, to not win a trophy in 5 years is criminal. It's great playing great football. Everybody wants to see that. But at the end of the day, you know, fans, and I'm a fan now, I want to go on at the big occasions. I want to be competing in the finals. And whether that's the Carling Cup, you know, let's just say he takes the FA Cup seriously. What's the prize? The prize is only the same as the Carling Cup, a place in the Europa Cup next season. So let's have a look at the bookmakers. Bookmakers put Arsenal not favourites for the league, and rightly so. They're not favourites for the Champions League, and rightly so. So is he putting all his eggs in one basket that he's going to finish fourth, which I think is going to be the hardest thing to do this season, especially with 2 or 3 other clubs vying to get into that top 4. So, again, Arsenal could end up with no trophies, which, for the club size of Arsenal, I'd imagine the supporters won't be too happy.
I have to say, though, Kevin, maybe it's a personal bee in my bonnet, but it's been so long, and Chairman Mao, a bit smarter than most of us, he actually said the first journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. And that's how I was looking at the Carling Cup. So I've got this thing that I don't want this to... Maybe, though, with the quality of player that we've got, they can take that onus on, irrespective of Mancini getting up to speed in managerial terms.
Well, I mean, if the stories are true, and hopefully he's not motivated just by the money, you know, Mancini's on £1 million to win the Cup. So that's motivation enough, isn't it? You know, and I would imagine the players themselves will be on a fair bonus. If, as the press like to say, that a lot of the players have only come to Manchester City for the money, then, well, you know, they'll be on a great bonus for winning the Carling Cup. It's very important to the fans, and I think, you know, Brian Kidd will know that more than anybody else who's now come into the club and will be appointed. Brian Kidd knows how important a victory in the Carling Cup will be. And, of course, he'll want to put one over on Manchester United as well, won't he?
Well, I'd quite like to put one over on Manchester United myself, but that having said, the last time I went to Wembley with City, I was with him and we were crying and we were running trying to get out of Division 3. More from Ian Irving.
Thanks, Jimmy. Yeah, we've been receiving more of your emails. If you want to get in touch, it's today at channelm.co.uk. There's one here from Carl Sproston in Northwich who says he's a true blue, but he would have got Mourinho instead of Mancini because he thinks he would have done much better. Phil B's got in touch as well. He says that Hughes has done a good job. He's taken City to the first semi-final for 29 years and 6th place with a game in hand. Yes, there's been defensive frailties, but he says he's not been given enough time to turn it round. And finally, another one here as well that says that Hughes has done a good job and has laid the foundations for the club, and he's hoping that Mancini can now build on those foundations now that the decision has been taken, of course. Well, earlier on today, I was down at Eastlands and I was gauging the reaction of the fans to the developments in the last 48 hours. Here they are.
A bit of a shock, really. A bit disappointed in the way it's been handled. I think we managed to make a pig's ear of it, should I say, dog's dinner. But not too disappointed overall, really.
I don't think they gave him enough chance on it. He was doing all right, and no, a bit sad, really.
I think it's good news. We needed a change, but I'm really sad for Mark because I don't think he's done a great deal wrong.
I think it's taking the spirit out of the club. I don't like the way they've done it. And it's showing that we're a business more than a football club, but we used to be in the community. So a bit upset about that. But I understand why they've done it, because the transfer window's coming up, which means we're going to spend money. Hopefully we do spend money, but I'm very disappointed.
Performances looked like they were going to improve. There was a lot of promise, and then the last few games, they've kind of stood still a little bit, maybe. So a bit harsh on the face of it, but they're showing the mean business.
What about Mancini then?
Jury's out, great experience in Italy, but we're not in Italy, are we?
I think it's a bit of a hurried appointment, to be honest. I think if they'd have waited a few more months, they could have got maybe Mourinho or Hiddink, which would have been better for us, because he's untried in the Premiership as well. But I don't know, I think it should be good. It will be good for us, yeah.
It's an interesting one. He had a bit of success in Italy, but he's got no Premiership experience. So we'll wait and see. Maybe they're thinking he can bring a couple of Italian defenders over and make us a bit stronger that way, but it's an interesting one.
Can he speak English? I don't know. I really don't know. I've heard little things saying that he's won trophies and stuff, but with other teams. Well, he's got another team here. Let's see what he can do with this.
So that's what the fans think. We'll be talking about this for a while, I have to say. Now, Kev, one of the things I think he's going to have to come over in the first instance, or get over in the first instance, is the fact that he isn't Mourinho and he isn't Hiddink. Is that fair?
Well, he won't want to be, will he? I don't think he will. He himself would want to come in and be Mourinho or Hiddink. He'll want to set his own personality on the club and the game. And if he came in to try and be a Mourinho, I don't think he would get away with that anyhow.
But this thing, Gary, we are the richest club in the world. The question will come back to haunt him. The minute he loses his first game, someone is going to stand up and say, we're City, why didn't we get Mourinho?
You need a little bit of luck in life, and no more so in football. I've thought many, many times, if the goal that Paul Scholes scored for United against Porto, when Mourinho was the manager, which was onside, where would Mourinho be now? I don't mean he's not bad, of course he's a great manager, but because of that he was able to go to Chelsea. He was afforded the riches and you need luck, you need that break in life. And, hang on a minute, he's shown you don't win 7 trophies in Italian football and don't know what you're doing. I don't care what you say. I mean, Jose Mourinho's over there now and he's won the league, but he's expected to win the league with the squad he's got. But it's the Champions League thereafter now. We're not. We're having to look to get into top 4 and a Carling Cup, which I think is realistic. And the reason why Mark's not there at the moment is because the target that they set for getting into that top 4 was probably not on track, and maybe the 8 draws that I revert back to again, and obviously the straw that broke the camel's back, which was the Tottenham game and the performance, obviously sealed it.
Well, we've only got a short amount of time left, but in the time that I have got left, can you just cover this one point, Gary, that there is talk about a player revolt and players storming up to the boardroom and stuff. Would it be fair to say, without being too cynical, that once the dust settles, there won't be a player who will actually leave over the Mark Hughes sacking? Of
course there'll be some players that...
They won't leave. They might get shipped out. They won't leave because of that,
It might not be their choice, you're absolutely right. But, the players that Mark brought into the club will be loyal to him, of course they will, but you know, how many teams have I played for where managers moved on, brought me? Ron Atkinson took me to West Brom, and within a year and a half he'd gone to Manchester United, and I had a series of managers. But, you know, you end up, you're professional, and you adapt to the situation. Some players, as you rightly said, might not have the choice. They might have been brought in by Mark, and the problem when you do change your manager is they're not all managers like previous managers' players. So some of those players will have to be playing at the best of the games, because one thing we do have is we have the money to be able to replace them.
This is Gary Owen, and that is Kevin Parker. This has been a debate about Manchester City, and if you've enjoyed it, we're going to do plenty of more of the same in the new year right here on Channel M. We wish him all the absolute best in his career, he being Roberto Mancini, and we wish Mark Hughes the best wherever his football career takes him from here. We'll be talking a lot more about City right here, Channel M 2010. Have a great Christmas.